I'm going to say hello to everyone, Eric. Are you going to say good morning? You're not going to sing for them? Just going to lick my arm instead. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Friday. If you are watching, please do pop a hello in the comments so that I can see you're here and say hello back. Can't believe it's Friday again. I don't know where the time goes, really. We have Eric this morning because he's not gone to sleep yet. It's time for your morning nap, really, isn't it? But because the sun's not shining, you're a bit grumpy, aren't you? Yeah, he likes to sit in the sun, really, so. Yeah. Right, first of all, though, let's set it to public, because we've forgotten to do that again, even though I've been reminded several times this morning. Bear with me a second. Here we are. Let's set it to public. Why it doesn't do it automatically, I really don't know, but there you go. Public. Right, there we are. And now I can see all your comments. Look. Good morning. Hi, Susie. Hi, Mendy. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Lani. Yeah, Eric says good morning, don't you? Saying good morning. You're going to go to sleep now? Because you're not an awful lot of help, are you, in a live chat, really? Because I need both hands. Anyway, hope everyone is good. Hi, Christine. Hi, Karen. Working with Naughtier this morning. Remember to get the plant out of the garden as well. Right, should we start? I'm going to have to let you get on with it now. You're going to go to sleep. Let's hope he goes to sleep and isn't a total pain in the butt. But there we go, we'll see. He's a Dachshund. They're meant to be pains in the butt. Hi, Penelope. Right, okay, so working with now he's under my feet. Never work with children and animals. I've got the camera at a different angle today too, so I must remember to keep looking up at it. Hi, Sue. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Maria. Dedicated. Sue's changed from the dippy druid to the dedicated druid. I like it, Sue. I liked dippy too, but working with Flower Magic Oracle cards this morning. If you have any questions about what I'm doing today, magical herbs, magical plants. Hi, Sue. Anything really, witchcraft related, anything about me or Eric or witchcraft in general, please do pop the questions in the comments and I will do my very best to answer them. Card for today is Naughtier. And the camera is a little bit further away today, so I can't get that because I can't stretch it far. Meaning is wandering, which will all become clear. I have actually that particular plant from the garden, Naughtier. They are really, really pretty. You can get them in different shades of pink and lilac and purple. It spreads and it's got big, long, there we go, spikes of flowers that wander all over the place, hence the meaning, wandering. So let's have a look. The chant. Wandering along life's track, knowing not when you'll be back. Perhaps the time to settle is now. Make your decisions as to how. So do you wander or do you stay? But it will be a journey, come what may. Maria, pretty. Yeah, they are really, really pretty. And they spread out through all the other plants as well, which is nice. So the message. Wandering aimlessly through life can suit some people. Not having any plans or ideas about directions to take, but it doesn't work for everyone. It can be pleasant to take time out and do nothing. It can be very good for the soul to go off on an adventure and not know where or how. So if you need to take a moment to just be, then do it. However, wandering without purpose can lead to confusion. Decide now. Do you want to just let the universe do its thing and wander aimlessly? If so, then you will have to change your mindset to cope with the unexpected. If your life wandering and floundering about has left you feeling adrift, then it's time to act. You can still wander with purpose. Your life doesn't have to have strict adherence to the rules. Whew, thank goodness. But a little direction is usually wise. Think about where you want to be. Hi, Petronella. What, Sue, do they smell? Well, my hay fever's going mad this morning. It probably doesn't help having them. Yes, they do. Very, very strongly. Like honey. Very, very sweet smell, which is probably why my nose is starting to run. Not that you needed to know that information. Let's have a look at Naughty as Magic. They're actually part of the scabious family. They're similar to scabious. The flower heads can be dried and used in incense blends and sachets to stop pets or people wandering off. It can also be used to create new adventures and open pathways for you. Naughtier flowers are good ingredients for spell workings to help you socialize and interact more easily in group situations and to aid in creating new friendships, partnerships, or business relations. So really, really useful in magic. Sue's life is adrift at the moment. I think a lot of us are at the moment, Sue. I'm not surprised to be working with this card. There's a lot of us at the moment who haven't got a clue what we're doing or where we're going. Common names for Naughtia are widow flower, Macedonian scabious, and field scabious. Flowers from the species were used during the bubonic plague to treat skin sores, just in case you needed to know that. The flower heads grow on long spindly stalks that wind and wander in and out of other plants in the garden. It is really, really pretty. So you can get different shades of pink and purple violet colours as well. So that's the card. I'm not sure what the woman's doing. She looks a bit stroppy actually, but she's got a hat and a coat on, so I'm assuming she's off on a bit of a journey. So today I was going to work with, not wandering, because I don't want to make you wander even more. Hi Alex. Maria's had this one. Maria, I think you've had all of them now, haven't you? I'm going with directions today, to finding a direction. So let's see if we can. It's really weird working with, you have to work the camera back to front. Right, so I'm going to work with directions today. I've got all my bits and pieces. So let's have a look at the corresponding items. So we have, now I've gone with decisions. A good one for decisions is lemon. You can work with a whole lemon if you want to. You can work with a slice of lemon and put it in your gin and tonic. There you go, decision made. Or you can dry the peel, low heat in the oven. You can dry slices of them. Or you can use lemon pips as well. They've all got the same magic to it. There's not an awful lot that's specifically for directions or decisions as such. So focus I went as well. Cinnamon and turkey are good foods for focus. You can hear Eric singing in the background. Along with cinnamon, frankincense, pansy and pine. And I also think clarity is part of it as well. So for that, you've got bergamot, betony, cardamom, clove, columbine, which is aquilegia, dill, horehound, juniper, knotweed, lavender, mustard, rue, self-heal and walnut. So a few things to work from there. There are lots of crystals specifically for decisions or directions. So directions is carnelian and goldstone, which is the ones I'm going to work with today. But there's lots and lots for decisions and for focus. I'll pop it all on my blog so that I don't bore you to death reading whole lists of things. So you can have a look through it. Lots and lots of different tarot cards for decisions and goals as well. Again, I will put them all on the blog. Otherwise you will be really bored. Maria, I usually get the same cards over, but Wednesday was the first time I was chosen fuchsia. Cool. Yeah, you will get them over and over until you get the message. Until you've listened to the message and done something about it. That's the way it works. But fuchsia's a good one too. Theirs aren't out in the garden yet. We've got little baby ones, but I know some are out. We've on our walks around the area. We've seen fuchsias flowering. I'm drying some orchid flowers. What are they good for, please? Orchids. Do you know, I don't know if I've got them in the book. Is there not a... Look, I've got the book stuff now. Let's have a look. I don't think it's in there, to be honest. I think the question is, What do you think it's good for? It is here. Look, I lied. Look, orchid. This covers a huge and diverse family of plants with beautiful, exotic and colourful flowers. Keep an orchid on your altar to remind you of your spirituality, and use orchids in workings for love and abundance. It's not actually one I've ever particularly worked with, Susie, so, and because I've got a brain like a sieve, so I don't remember these things. So it's not one I'm familiar with. So spirituality, love and abundance is orchid properties, ruled by Venus. It's a water element and a feminine gender, which is not surprising because it's very feminine and delicate flowers, aren't they? Excellent. Oh, have fun working with them, Susie. Let's know how you get on with those. No, it's not one I've actually worked with. Not a flower that I grow, really. It's an indoor plant, isn't it? And I'm not really good with house plants. Garden plants, yep. House plants, yeah, not so much. My husband says they scream as they come in the door. Hi, Jackie. Yeah, Eric's running about, actually. He's pottering about. You can hear him, his claws tiptoeing because he needs them cutting, and he won't let us do them. Right, so have a look. Today, I thought, what shall I do today? Because we've done spell pouches, and we've done witch bottles, and we've done candle spells. Well, not yet, so many variations. Today, I thought I would do a little thing called a mind map, but I'm then going to make it into a kind of herbal pouch that we're going to burn, because we all like a bit of flame, don't we? So for a mind map, you need a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. It can be used with any intent. It's entirely up to you, but as we're working with directions today, you write your main focus in the centre. Direction. That's your key starting word. Direction. You can't see it with the pencil, can you? Let me write with a big felt tip pen. There we go. Christine likes the idea of plants screaming as they go in the house. Yeah, I am really not good at house plants. So yeah, they do come in through the front door kicking and screaming. Morning, Baz. Fuchsia. Yeah, fuchsia's it's not a usual one for working magic with, Maria, but there are some uses in the flower magic book. There are some magical uses for it, I believe. Yeah, you're not supposed to take fuchsias into the house because they bring bad luck. Very good for dealing with the emotions and truth. Also good for shadow work and to release and cleanse the throat chakra. They also symbolize love. So yeah, quite a useful one. Fuchsia, very pretty too. So let's write this so that you can hopefully see it. Is that a bit better? Not at all. Right, so you write your intent in the middle of the piece of paper. Then you have to sit and not really think and not really focus, but let your mind wander to what you need direction in. So areas of your life. So it could be work, it could be home life, could be relationships. I am just writing these as they come into my head. It could be pets. It could be spirituality. Make sure I spell it right. And these all come off of your central intent. Excuse the dreadful handwriting. And then you write other words that you think that just come into your head. Focus on direction. So pets might be training, because he sure needs some training. So you would do that. Work might be balance. That would actually go for home life too. So you would do that. Relationships, spirituality, guidance. So you just keep writing the words as they come into your head. And they'll all link to either one or several of the words that you've written around the central intent. So I need direction for all of these things. And keep writing until you think that you've finished. You can write lots of things. You can write a few things. You can even draw images or symbols. Whatever comes into your head, just write it down. Don't think about it too much. Just be guided by your intuition and write the words down as they come into your head. When you've written them all down, you can draw lines to link them up if you want to. Have a look and see what you've written and see where it's taken you, basically, because your subconscious will kick into this and it will help you by writing things that you perhaps hadn't thought of, directions that you hadn't thought of. So that's your mind map. And that will hopefully give you some insight anyway on what direction you need to take. And then we're going to add some magic to it. So I've got some of the things that I mentioned before that are corresponding to it. Yeah, a written mandala, Christine. Yes, I like that idea. Yeah, it is. They use it a lot in business training. They call them mind maps because it works for marketing, business directions and that kind of thing, because you can write down all these different ideas and then you can link them and follow it through. But I think it works really well with magic. So I'm going to make a little parcel now to burn, because I like burning things basically. But I've got some things here. I've got the naughtias. I'm not going to put them in it because they're not dried and they're quite pretty. I've also got an Aquilegia here, or America it's Columbine. That one's self-seeded in the garden, because I haven't got any dried ones of those yet. I will get them. I haven't got any dried. I've also got some pine here that I cut off the pine tree this morning, because again, I haven't got any dried of that. I will do some of that, but now I'm covered in pine sap. So I'm going to put some bits and pieces in the middle, but first I'm going to fold it. Fold it in just to get some foldy lines on it to make it a bit easier when I fold it up afterwards. So you just need to fold it like a parcel just to get some creases in it. So just so that it's a bit easier to fold up when you're done. So I've got my little square in the middle there. I can put all my bits and pieces in. Yeah, monkey mind. When you meditate, quite often when things come into your head, you get the mind monkeys, which interrupt with thoughts and ideas and words and interrupt your meditation, basically. If you use that focus, that same sort of process, you can get those words down on the piece of paper. So I'm going to light a yellow candle to start with, because I think yellow is very good for focus, and because I will need the flame for it in a minute. Looking for something to light it with. And I've chosen yellow because that's focus, that's getting clarity. Right, so let's add some bits and pieces to our spell. So I've got some cinnamon, which is very good for focus, but also good for clarity. This is the cassia bark, which is the cheap cinnamon, but I think is much, much better for spell working. So I'm going to put some in there. You can charge it with your intent. Hold it in your hand. Allow the energy to come up from the ground, up through your body and through your hands, or from down and down through. Don't use your own energy. You will exhaust yourself. Draw it from Mother Nature and the elements around you. Or you can just state your intent out loud each time you put something in there. So that would be cinnamon for focus and clarity. It does smell amazing, Maria. Cinnamon's one of my favourite ones. It smells lovely. So that's cinnamon for focus and clarity. We've now got some lavender here, just to add the nice smell, which is also for clarity. So cinnamon for focus and clarity, lavender for clarity to help with decision making. So pop some lavender in there. That was dried from my garden last year. And then we've got brain failure. Then we've got cardamom. It's a bit early in the morning for me. I haven't had enough sugar yet. So cardamom is really good for clarity. I'm putting in, with a lot of things, I'm putting in 3s. I work with number 3 quite a lot, 3, 6 or 9 quite often, because it's such a powerful number. So I've got 3 cardamom pods, and I'm going to put them in there for clarity. And I can hear Eric singing. Now I've got juniper. And again, I'm going to put, I don't know if you can see those, just juniper berries, dried juniper berries. I'm going to put 3 of those in. So 3 juniper berries, because they're really good for clarity as well. I think juniper as well is quite a purifying one. It's quite cleansing and purifying. So it'll clear the way and provide clarity and direction, which is what we want. I've got some rue here. These ones are from Freya's Cauldron. My rue plant's not very big in my garden at the minute. So rue again is for clarity. So 1 for clarity, 1 for focus, and 1 for direction. And now I've got some mustard seeds. These are black mustard seeds. Really, really fiery ingredient to work with. A lot of power, a lot of energy, a lot of fire to this one. Another one for clarity. Maria, juniper's nice in an incense mix. Yeah, it is. Juniper berries work really well in incense mixes. Lani, love Freya's Cauldron. Yeah, lots of my stuff comes from Freya's Cauldron. So 3 pinches of mustard for clarity, for focus, and for direction. This is why you fold the paper first, because if you're putting in little tiny things like mustard seeds, if your paper's not folded up a bit, it will run all over the table. There speaks the voice of experience. And now I'm going with some frankincense. So frankincense again, it's all about the same thing. It's focus is the specific for frankincense. Focus, clarity, and direction. Frankincense is one of my favourite smells. I've also got some clove here, and clove again is another good one for clarity. I'm going to put 3 of them in. Oh, that smells amazing. But again, I think it's the highly scented ones that work really well for clarity and focus, because they are really strong scents and they give you that kind of clear thinking, and very good for your sinuses. 3 cloves there. Focus, clarity, and direction. I think that's all the bits and bobs. Oh, right, now I haven't got any lemon. Don't have any lemon peel or any lemon at the moment. I have got lemon oil, which I'm going to put on in a minute. But instead of that, I'm going to use lemon verbena. So lemon is excellent for decisions, directions, and clarity. That smells really nice too. It smells like lemon sherbet. Because I'm going to burn this, I'm not going to put a crystal in, but I have got a quartz point. I think when you're working with directions or decisions, a point, any of the crystal points work really well because they show you the way. So when I burn it, I will actually put that on top for a second. So now I've got my bits and pieces in there. I'm going to fold it up very carefully so that nothing falls out. You've got yourself a little parcel. So there's my little parcel full of pieces. I'm going to dab it with some lemon oil. I've got some lemon oil here. Susie, if you haven't got all the ingredients, can you just use what you've got? Absolutely, Susie. There are some really fancy things or different things. So turkey, obviously, is good for focus, but you're not going to put a bit of turkey in there. Well, you might, but you're not really going to have turkey very often. And a lot of the herbs and things, some I haven't got. So betony, horehound, knotweed, self-heal, walnut. I haven't got those. They're all really good for clarity and decisions, but I haven't got them. So I'm working on with the ones that I've got, which is why I tend to pick the more usual ones that hopefully people have got, like cinnamon and lavender. Mustard seed, if you haven't got mustard seed, but you've got mustard powder or even a jar of mustard, put a little bit of that in. As I didn't have lemon peel, I've used lemon verbena. Trust your intuition. These are generalizations of things that have magical properties that I need, but trust your intuition. Go into your kitchen cupboards, go into your magic cupboards or your garden, wherever you source your items from, and see what jumps out at you for the intent that you specifically want. So absolutely use what you have to have. That's kitchen witchcraft at its best. So I've got some lemon oil here. And so that I don't get covered in it, I've got a little makeup brush. So I'm going to put 3 dabs of the lemon oil on the paper. And that is for clarity, focus, and direction. Make sure I put the lid back on so I don't tip it everywhere. Sue, there's no hard and fast rules, so make, do, amend is good. Am I correct? Absolutely. That is kitchen witchcraft. Make do with what you've got. Again, which is why I focus on a lot of the ingredients that you can find generally in your kitchen cupboards. I don't use any expensive ingredients. I've never sourced ingredients from across the other side of the world. A, because I think working with ingredients that are close to hand are going to be more personal to you. And B, because I don't want to pay lots of money for expensive exotic ingredients. And C, because I don't want the eco-friendly side of it, the having to have it flown across the world just so I can use it in a spell. I think using whatever you grow, whatever you can buy or find near you, has got to be much better. But definitely use whatever you've got in your kitchen cupboard. Teresa, I've used lemon tea bags. Absolutely brilliant, Teresa. That would be perfect. Absolutely perfect. Tea bags, herbal tea bags especially, are really brilliant for magical workings. You can use them in all sorts of things, other than drinking them, obviously. But you can drop them into your bath to have a herbal bath. You can pop them in a bucket of hot water and wash your floors or your surfaces with it. Brilliant. But yes, definitely you can open up the tea bags and use the herbs inside, or just pop the whole tea bag in. You could have put it inside this parcel, would have worked absolutely brilliantly. Yeah, kitchen witchcraft at its best. So I've got my little parcel here now. I'm going to put a quartz crystal on top of it just to charge. I've also got a goldstone, sparkly goldstone, which is good for decisions. And I've also got a piece of carnelian, which again is really good for direction. So I'm going to leave that sitting there for a minute to charge. What I've also got, which is really good for decision making or directions, is a compass. I've got a really nice brass fancy one here, which is lovely. But I've also got a little cheapy one here as well, which anything like that, absolutely brilliant to use for magical workings. So I'm going to pop the compass in front of it, only because I can't fit it on top of it. Setting the stage really for the spell, because the compass helps us with directions. Maria loves goldstone. Yeah, it is one of my favorites too. I like the blue goldstone as well. I think it comes back to my childhood. My mum used to make jewellery in the 70s, and I'm pretty sure she used to make a lot of stuff with goldstone. But then you've got your spell. You've got your package with all your herbs in it. You've got your mind map inside it, some crystals on top. You can charge them before you place them on there, charge them with direction, the intent of direction, and then pop your compass for direction as well. Christine, love that compass. It's really nice actually. It's got a little lid that screws onto it, little brass lid, and it comes in a little leather pouch. It's all very steampunk. It's lovely. I leave it out most of the time actually. It's on my altar quite a lot. But for spell work, just a little cheapy one is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, you can use the compass on your phone, Maria. Absolutely. Compass app on the phone is really, really useful. Sue, I've been given a few unpolished crystals. Does it make any difference? No, absolutely fantastic. Unpolished crystal, polished crystal, doesn't matter at all. It also doesn't matter what size it is, whether it's a tumblestone or a crystal the size of a house brick. It really doesn't matter. The intent and the energy of the crystal are what is important. And if you don't have crystals at all, you don't have to use them. It's entirely up to you. But that's charging. World War I compass. I think it's a new one, but it's got a little poem in it as well. It is a newish one, but it's got some old wording on the front as well. Yeah, it's very nice. Looks very steampunky. Karen likes blue goldstone. It reminds her of the night sky. Oh, it does. Absolutely brilliant description, Karen. That would, yeah, perfect description. Christine got hers from a Christmas cracker. Tiny compass. They are absolutely brilliant for spell work. Yeah, definitely. The little tiny plastic ones that you get. Yeah, absolutely brilliant for spell work. Nothing needs to be fancy. Nothing needs to be expensive. Yeah, go with it. Go with what you have. Maria was gifted one, protection for traveling. It is a man-made crystal. Yeah, the goldstone ones are man-made crystals, but they've still got magical properties, and I do like them. Right, so he's charging away. So now we're going to burn him, just because, you know, I like to burn stuff, really. So let's move this over here so I don't actually set fire to my table, because I'm having to use it as a desk at the moment. So let's put those there. I've got the pine there as well. When you burn anything, please be very, very careful. Please use a fireproof container. If you've got a fire pit or a chiminea, if you're having a bonfire, you could work the spell beforehand and then just chuck it in the bonfire. Absolutely brilliant. Don't have to worry about anything then. I'm going to do it with my cauldron. If you don't have a cauldron, an old casserole dish, an old metal bucket, doesn't have to be anything expensive or fancy. It just needs to be fireproof so that you don't cause any kind of problems. Don't set fire to your house. So here we go. So I'll take the crystals off. They can all be cleansed now, because they've been used, so they'll need to be cleansed. We'll pop the compass there. You can say a fancy little chant if you want to. I'm really not overly good at poetry, but you could say the chant from the book for Naughtier. Well, you never find it when you're looking for it. Right, so hold the package in your hand. Wandering along life's track, knowing not when you'll be back. Perhaps the time to settle is now. Make your decisions as to how. So do you wander or do you stay? But it will be a journey, come what may. So let's burn it. Maria loves a cauldron. Thank you. I've had this cauldron for years. I have got a smaller one as well. They are brilliant for burning things, but as I say, you don't need to have anything expensive. It just needs to be fireproof. I am holding it with tongs because, you know, it's flames. I don't want to set fire to myself. I'm probably going to smoke myself out now. I would normally do this outside, I must admit. I'm probably going to set off the smoke alarms now. My husband's sitting next to me looking in horror as the flames go upwards. We'll watch out for the smoke alarm. That'll be going off soon. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's dying down now. But that's all the bits and pieces burning. So that's your spell going into action, basically. And who doesn't like a bit of flame? You can sit and focus on it as it burns. You can send your intent into it as it burns. You can watch the flames or the smoke for any kind of, no one can see me now. You can watch the flames or the smoke for any kind of messages or symbols that might help you as well. But just be aware once you've set the spell, now that's done, just keep your eyes open for any signs of what direction you should be taking in any of those areas. And that's your spell done, really. You could keep your compass on your altar if you wanted to. You could keep any of the crystals in your pocket or in your purse or handbag to help you with direction as well. It does smell quite nice. I think the frankincense has just caught hold now and the cloves. So it does smell nice. Frankincense always makes me think of Glastonbury. And that's it done, really. I would sprinkle the ashes on the garden because there was nothing in there. I wouldn't ever burn anything that wasn't natural or biodegradable. So those ashes and the bits of pieces will go on the garden. And that's it. That's your spell for direction. You could put all of those bits and pieces in a spell pouch if you didn't want to burn it. You could bury it in the garden, again, if you didn't want to burn it. If you bury it, really do make sure you don't put anything that's not biodegradable in it. You could even pop all those bits and pieces in a witch's jar if you preferred. It's entirely up to you. Spell work's quite flexible. You do whatever your intuition or you're guided to do. But the compass is really good for any spell work for directions. It's about using things that you associate with it. It's about using things that you think correspond with your intent. So I'm just going to put the lid on that now because it's a bit smoky when you're trying to talk. I'll blow the candle out now. So that's the spell work. Yes, definitely use whatever you've got to hand. If you haven't got herbs or spices, you can use essential oils in place. Absolutely fine, no problem with that at all. You can just use visualization if you've got nothing, or just work with the mind map. Just work with the mind map alone if you're looking for some kind of direction. Just write it all out and then roll it up and bury it, or roll it up and burn it. You don't have to add the herbs and spices and the bits and pieces or the crystals. It's all about layers. Each time you add a herb or a spice, each time you add a magical ingredient or a crystal, you're adding a layer to the magic. You're adding a layer to your intent. So it all boosts it all, really. So that's the spell. If anyone's got any other questions about anything at all, please do pop it in the comments. If you want me to talk about anything in particular, then give me a shout. I'm happy to go through anything. If you are a member of the Pagan Tribal Gathering, I am doing a talk on in their group this evening. They've got events running all weekend. We'll be having more waffling witches, so keep an eye on the Kitchen Witch group. If you've got questions that come to mind later on in the week, or we think about something, do post the questions in the Kitchen Witch Facebook group. We're always happy to help and lend our advice, guidance, waffling. You don't have to take it, but everyone's always got different ideas about things. So always here to answer questions, so message me if you would like to. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments. Does anybody work specifically with anything? Do you work with crystals? Do you work with herbs? The question earlier about not having things doesn't matter. Magic, you can work with nothing. You can work magic with absolutely nothing, with your visualization. It's again, it's just all about layers and what you've got. If you've got no crystals and all you've got is a shell or a pebble, both of those have got really strong magical properties. So it doesn't have to cost lots of money. You just work with whatever's in your cupboard. So I think that's about it, unless anyone's got any last minute questions. Thank you as always for joining me. You guys are absolutely brilliant. I love my Friday morning chats with you lot. I do sometimes run out of ideas, so if you want to see anything in particular, give me a shout, but I'll keep working my way through the cards. Oh, hello, Paul from over in Japan. Do you just use regular photocopy paper? You caught me out. Yes, I do. It's my printer paper. It is my printer paper. It's actually good for mind maps because it's big, and you're going to burn it. I am very practical. You can buy some beautiful paper. You can buy some beautiful paper, and I do have. Let me just find it. If I'm working with a little petition, then I've got some quite pretty little pads with pieces of paper, and I work with that. For a little petition, I work with that. But if I'm working on something like this, then I will use white paper. If I'm making something, there's a thing called a dispatcho, which I like making quite often, not the cold soup. That's completely different. And I quite often work with brown paper for that, because you need a big sheet of it. So I'll work with brown paper, and then you put all stuff in and you burn it. But yeah, I'm practical. I use whatever's to hand. If I've spent a lot of money on some really nice paper, I'd rather put it in my book of shadows than make something and burn it. But it's choice. It's up to you. If you think that using fancy papers helps your intent, then absolutely go with it. Parchment's lovely for writing things on, but I'm going to set fire to it, so I'm a bit tight when it comes to that kind of thing. And it's what I've got to hand, so I use whatever I've got there. So yeah, Paul, follow your intuition as always. Christine, I work with a lot of crystals and herbs, and my own meditations for intent and the odd naughty spell. Yeah, meditation for your intent is absolutely brilliant and straightforward. Hi Richard, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining me. Maria, I just choose what comes to me and then look up what the correspondence are. Yeah, definitely. Work with your intuition first, because it will always be the right thing. Thank you, Sue. You're very welcome. Lani, I often have different crystals in each room relating to that room to work with. Lani, you have crystals everywhere. Lani's a bit of a crystal queen, aren't you? But yeah, crystals in each room. Brilliant. Thank you, Karen. You're very welcome. Thank you, Paul. No problem, as always. Sue, I was always told not tight but careful. Yeah, but it is practical, if you've got beautiful paper, then I want to keep it in my book of shadows or keep it for special things. If I'm going to burn it, then I'm going to use the cheap stuff, because you're very welcome, Maria. But yeah, use whatever you've got. As I say, this was just a little notepad that came with something, but it's brilliant for petitions because it's just small and easy. But if all you've got is photocopy paper that you've nicked from work, use that. Yeah, trust your intuition. Go with what you've got to hand. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be expensive. Trust yourself. You are very welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you hopefully again next Friday. Thank you for joining me. As I say, as always, any questions in the meantime, any ideas, anything you want to see particularly, just ping me and I'll be happy to help. So have a fantastic weekend, everyone. And wherever you are in the world, please stay safe and take care.